Hey there, Bobcats. This is a tutorial video for your Path to Final project. Your final project is writing a free song of your choice, but let's go take a look at the must-do to see exactly what you must do to get full credit for your final project. Check it out. Your must-do is writing a 16-bar song using triple range. Let's go take a look on over inside of a Chrome Music Lab to see what that could look like. I'm going to ask you to go over to the settings and change your length up to the maximum amount of 16 bars and change your range over to 3. You can change any of your other settings to be whatever you want it to be for this song. So inside of our 16-bar song, you're going to find that I placed some drum beats for you to know where your different pages are. You'll notice in my song that not only do I have the drum beat marking each page of my song, but I went ahead and made a line on each one of my pages so that I know which one of my pages is my various chord and harmonies. I'm going to ask that you, Bobcats, get at least this far before moving along with the video. Go ahead and pause your video now to make sure that you have 4 pages with 4 lines. Alright, let's move ahead and see what we can do next on this. My next example here is that I went ahead and tripled all of my lines, so now there's not just one line on each page, but I went ahead and I made it to where there's 3 of the exact same color on each page. You could use whatever color lines that you want, but I went ahead and used red, light green, another red, and then dark green. Go ahead and pause the video to make sure you have 3 lines per page. Alright, let's continue on and check out the next step of this process. Now that we have 3 lines per page, we're going to go ahead and write some original drum beats underneath of this. You don't need to make sure that your drum beats are the same on each page. You could have them each be different. Check it out. Let's take a listen to the drum beats I wrote for my song so far. That's what I have for my drums so far. You'll notice that each one of my pages is a different drum pattern, and I thought this would be a cool thing to do on my final song. I'm going to ask that you go ahead and pause the video to work on your drum beats. Let's get back together and check out what we could do next on our final project. I always advocate writing your song from the bottom up. So after we've done our drums, we can go ahead and move on over to our bottom part, our bass part. I always like to have my bass part match my drums. So you'll notice that my bottommost red line is now turned into a few different red squares and dark green squares, just matching my drums perfectly on the bottom. You'll notice that every time I have a circle hit, I use the red symbol, and whenever I have a triangle hit, I use the dark green symbol. You'll notice that in my other pages, I have different patterns for my bottom bass notes. You can come up with whatever pairings that you want to use, or you can go ahead and come up with your own way to write out your bottom line. But let's take a listen to what my song sounds like so far with my drums and bass part fully realized. you'll notice that my song is starting to sound a little bit more like a song instead of a study. Let's go ahead and pause our video to work on our bass notes. All right, let's get back together and finalize our song. Check it out. In my final rendition of my song, I've gone ahead to work on my top 2 lines at the same time. These are my melody and my harmony lines. It's quite a big difference when you look at what it used to be versus what I turned it into. You can see that the red line of my song is now a big roller coaster of notes. I have a perfect pairing of notes between each other so that they are harmonized with each other. You can see on my second page, I took a completely different approach. My third page kind of is a bit like my first, where I have lines moving together. You can do whatever you want for your final project's song. Just make sure you really take the time to think about it. I really like how my last page turned out because I used selective colors for each one of my pages. The last page is specifically dark green, pink, orange, and light green. Let's go ahead and take a listen to what my song sounds like in its final form. Another time around. And there you have it, folks. That's an example of what your final project could look like. I'm going to ask that you pause the video and spend the next amount of time working on your melody and your harmony parts. All right, Bobcats, let's check in about what we could do to take our project to the next level. Let's take a look at what our should do is today. Our should do for our final project is that we should split our beats up into 4. You can go into the settings and change your split beats to become 4 instead of 2. And you'll notice that all your notes get separated now. That's because you have more room in between your notes to write your song. You could go ahead and add all the notes you want in between your pre-existing notes if you'd like. It gives your song a completely different element. If you'd like to continue with the should do, go ahead and pause this video and work on your should do. All right, let's get back together and check out what our Aspire to Do challenge is today for our final song. Our Aspire to Do challenge for our most aspirational of Bobcat songwriters is coming up with a name for your song. Think long and hard about what you want your song to reflect. What intentions are you trying to express in your songwriting? Maybe your name could be in alignment with that. Write down the name of your song and submit it in the Asynchronous Assignment 16 submission portal in the Class 16 folder over in Schoology. Alrighty, Bobcats, I'm looking forward to hearing your final projects. Catch you next time.